What's going on, Nerd Army guys? Welcome to the newest episode of Nerdsmerized. Today, guys, we're going to continue our adventure into the world of Game of Thrones. Let's get back into our episodic adventure with Season 1, Episode number 7, titled You Win or You Die. So let's get right into it. We start off seeing Tywin Lannister. The first time we see him is he's out there and he is cleaning the kill that he had just done. Like a fucking savage, just handling it like no big deal. Blood doesn't bother him, knives don't bother him, dead shit don't bother him. He's a G already. Jaime comes to talk to his father, and it appears that he can't do one goddamn thing right in his father's eyes. And he asks him, why the fuck is Tyrion still a prisoner of that Stark bitch? Go get him! And he said, why the hell isn't Ed Stark dead already? So Ed got all his ducks in a row, knows all the information, and has all of his proof. And he's gonna go talk to his friend, King Robert, and tell him all this bullshit that's been going on and that his wife is fucking her brother. Hell yeah, Ed. You do it, bro. So Ed has a private meeting with Cersei Lannister, and he tells her, I'm gonna tell King Robert all the shit you've been doing, that you've been sucking your brother's dick, and that Joffrey is his kid, his bastard son, and all this other bullshit. And so I'm going to give you a chance to get your kids and get the fuck out of town before he has them all killed for being incested bastards. Hell yeah. Tell her, Ed, like a fucking thug. He tells him he knows that Robert has had no sons with her. They are all Jaime's kids. I'm going to puke. This is... So then she would snap back like a bitch and say, you know what? When you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die. Just like straight savage, like, fuck you, Ed. That's what she's saying. Crazy bitch. Then we see Roz finally made it to King's Landing and is having to go through some training with one of the other girls and Littlefinger, trying not to overplay it and trying to explain what the people around there are expecting from the whores they come visit at the brothel. So it was kind of weird though, because the whores are going at it with each other. Roz and the other girl kind of smashing on each other and having some really good sex time happening. And Littlefinger just goes on to a really deep talk about how he's still in love with Catelyn Stark and that, yeah, he's always loved her. And holy shit, a little weird, bro. Next we see Theon trying to train the wildling Asha that they caught in the ways of the court, because she's a wildling. She doesn't know anything about that, or like the highborns, anything like that. So he's trying to give her some tips. Then it gets a little creepy and Theon tries to like fuck her, and yeah, bastard. But he's interrupted. This is where she would reveal that she's from over the wall. She is actually from over the wall. And she says that the White Walkers were never dead. They've just been sleeping, but they're awake now. Then back at the wall, we see Jon's uncle Benjen's horse come back without its rider. This makes Jon freak out a little bit. Jon is tripping hard and wants to go find his uncle right now. Back at the capital, we see that Robert is back from his hunt, but somehow the drunk bastard tried to wrestle with the wild boar, and this motherfucker gushed the shit out of him, and now the king is fucking dying. He's on his deathbed. So he does what he needs to do, and he has Ed transcribe his final words, putting Ed in charge of the protector of the kingdom until Joffrey comes of age, or as Ed wrote it, not Joffrey, but until a rightful heir comes of age to take the throne in his stead. So now Ed's gonna be in charge. Joffrey ain't getting shit because he's still gonna expose his shit. Yeah, Robert's dying, but it seems like shit's about to go down for the good. And on his deathbed, King Robert also tells Ed to call off the hit on Daenerys Targaryen. He was right. There's no need to go after this girl, but that shit's too late to call off. Then we see a really touching moment between the Khaleesi and her husband Khal Drogo, and you could really tell that they're starting to really truly fall in love with each other, and they really love each other and care about each other. Then we see Daenerys walking through a local market with a couple of her handmaidens and a guard, and Jorah's keeping eyes on her, and a local merchant walks up and offers her some wine, some special wine for the Khaleesi. So Ed couldn't stop the attempt because this man was here to poison her, but Jorah discovers it, and they have the man chased down, and yes, he's taken care of. And this shit gets Cal all fired up, and he starts talking to all his people how they're gonna go take and kill the people that just tried to kill his wife and his child. And he just gives this epic speech that gets all his people just Wah! So back at the wall, Jon and the rest of the guys are getting their official titles because they are now members of the Night's Watch, and they're going to know what their job is going to be. Jon, his entire life, has wanted to be a ranger like his uncle Benjen, and yet Jon has put, the fuck? Jon isn't made a ranger, he's a what the he's going to be a motherfucking servant? The commander made John his personal steward because he wants to groom him to take over as a leader and become a commander of the Night's Watch. That's pretty badass. John, quit bitching. Make a motherfucker some food, get him some drinks, get drank with him, get all fucked up, have some fun. Then we see King Robert's brother go to Ed Stark and tell him he needs to get a bunch of soldiers together and rush the Queen and Joffrey and take them by force. But Ed has more honor than that. He is not going to do that and go pluck a child from his home. That's not how he runs shit. Littlefinger tries to make one last attempt to get Ed to bury the hatchet with the Lannisters and stop all this bullshit. But Ed's like, fuck that, fuck them, fuck you. Ed was able to get a raven off with a message to Robert's older brother that he is the rightful heir in Robert's death and that everyone else involved is conspiring against him, basically. And that Cersei and her brother Jaime are Joffrey's parents and he's an incested little bastard. So at least something's happening, but if I were Ed, I would have told everybody, not just one person. So we get to the point where everything looks great, it's going to be going the way it goes down, but then bitch-ass Littlefinger fucking betrays him. Man, Catelyn ain't gonna fuck you, bro. Come on, man. That's her boy. My favorite part of this episode had to be Khal Drogo and Daenerys and their connection. These two characters just seem like they really do truly care about each other and they love each other and they have this deep, intense passion with one another, even though it's a little like vague for us as the viewers, but it was still really cool just to see the dynamic between the two of them. It's very, very cool and very well done. This episode was really, really cool. The part that pisses me off the most is getting to see that little inbred little piece of shit sitting on the throne and all the bad shit happening to my boy Ed Stark, man. Bullshit. I hope King Robert's brother gets there and cuss that little bastard's head off. This episode was full of all kinds of enticing rumors, espionage, betrayal, all kinds of crazy shit, guys. This was a great episode. I had a lot of fun with this, all in all. And this was a cool episode, and I had a great time watching it. And I cannot wait for the next one, but I hope it gets better. I hope Ed doesn't die. I'm gonna stab somebody. I swear it. Alright guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. What was your favorite part? And let me know what you guys thought about my recap and review. And also make sure you guys hit that like, thumbs up button on this video. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with all the videos we put out every week, including our episodic adventures into the world of Game of Thrones. And I will be continuing these at least a couple of weeks, guys. So make sure you guys subscribe to keep up, and I will see you next time. Alright, peace out.